time. All right, are we ready? Welcome, everybody. I'm Britta Dimmler, and we are talking about foundations of health tonight. This is part two. If you missed our part one, it was a couple weeks ago. You can ask for the replay, and we would be happy to share it with you. But just as a quick refresher, at the beginning of part one, I had you make a list of your priorities, like your top 10 priorities in life. Okay, and I just kind of want you to think about those again. And I asked it after I gave people a little bit of time to write them in any order, didn't matter what order, if their health made their priority list. And if you are a typical mom or woman, oftentimes our health does not make our list, right? Or if you are maybe I don't know if I should say typical man, they don't really think about their health either, I don't think, right? Because I know my husband doesn't. He can barely bend his knee some days, and I'm like, do you need to go see somebody? He's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, oh. So, we are stubborn people. I think in general, we either probably don't go enough to get help or we go too often to get help. I don't know. But I just want you to think about that. So we talked last time about, what did we talk about? We talked about air, water, nutrition, and sunlight. And we did kind of a deep dive into several of those. I hope if you were on that call or if you've seen that call, that you implemented something. And if you did, I would love for you to put it in the chat. One thing that you took away from that, maybe, or one thing that you're implementing to help improve your air, water, nutrition, and sunlight. And Brandy, yes, it was recorded, and you can ask for the recording later. Maybe Alice, maybe you can grab it. I just posted it in the hub. Okay. So and we also talked about last time, if you show, if I said, show me your calendar and I'll show you your priorities, what our daily routine looks like is a big indicator of what we value. And, most of us can make improvements in a lot of areas in our life. And if we think about our day in 3 8-hour periods, so think about, I have 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, and 8 hours for building relationships and revitalizing ourselves in mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so that's just kind of a refresher. But I really want you to think about that, because I think a lot of times we just we hear things like that and go, yeah, okay, that's interesting. And then we move right on along, and we don't take time to really evaluate what our priorities are, what our schedule's showing, and really make those changes that we need. So tonight we're going to jump into exercise. And just here's a little poll. Let's take a little poll. Do you exercise? Do you consider yourself someone who exercises? Okay. And that could be, I walk to the mailbox every day. So yes, I exercise, if that's what it is. It could be that you actually go for an hour walk every day, or that you're working out. My daughter is 21 and she works out every day. And boy, I admire her so much. I do not do that. So, we all have different priorities in life, right? But they've done studies, and they found that less than 5% of adults exercise or participate in 30 minutes of physical activity a day. And that's really a sad fact. Now, Kathy mentioned before we started that she's doing the reset, and part of the reset is 30 minutes of exercise. And, sometimes it might seem a little daunting, but if we make the decision that I'm going to do it, it's a lot easier, right? Because we just do it instead of making excuses on reasons not to. So less than 5% of adults participate in physical activities, and children spend more than 8 hours a day in front of a screen. And that is just kind of heartbreaking to me, right? Because we are teaching our children to be dependent and to be lethargic and just to sit. And, it's important to teach them instead, or in addition, that it's okay to get up and move, and it's vital to get up and move. So age and health will determine what form of movement we can take, but our bodies rely on our ability to move, flex, and stretch to build resilience over a long period of time. If we don't move or we can't move, there will be consequences to our well-being, and that affects the length and quality of life. Okay. Every organ and body system requires movement. Our body requires that we have to do more than just moving our arms up and down when we talk. Stagnation and atrophy decrease the size of our muscles, organs, and tissue, which restricts the flow of blood and other fluids. So the sooner we start moving again, and this is even after a health setback, the better off we are, right? And that's one thing I think they do well in the hospital or in different places, is they encourage people to get moving again, right? You can't leave the hospital. Well, part of their reason for getting you to move is you can't leave the hospital until you poop or until you're at least passing gas. But that's part of the body's way of working again and kind of like kicking in gear is movement. And the more exercise or the more just movement that we can do, the better we are. So think of exercise as detoxification for the body. Exercise creates mild damage. It actually helps to damage our body, which you think, well, why do I want to do that? That our body repairs the damage and it induces sweating, which is a natural detoxification pathway for dead cells and other waste products that our body's taking care of. Exercise increases biogenesis of mitochondria, which is a key to reducing disease and cancer risk. Plus, it aids in the reduction of the aging process. So it's actually going to help you look and feel younger. There are many forms of exercise. And, if you want like a really good, interval training, high impact in short bursts, that's ideal. But for a lot of us, the most important thing is just to move. It's just to get up and move, right? So if you're starting out, just go enjoy the natural world around us. I mean, I'm in central Iowa. It's a beautiful day today. I think it is, like yesterday was really stormy and yucky. And I think that today is really great for most of us. But how many of us have actually gone outside and done something, like even if it's just walking around in the yard, or again, walking to the mailbox and back, or taking your animals for a walk or whatever. So just go for a walk in nature. Pick an aromatic flower or plant, rub it between your hands and breathe. Have you ever just picked a flower, and smelled it, and then maybe done this and getting it on your hands and breathing it in? Well, that's a great thing to do, but we could also grab our oils beforehand and breathe these in, right? Put them on our hands and breathe. So oils actually have chemical compounds that stimulate our brain to a more positive state of mind, and a positive state of mind motivates us to movement and recovery. So inhaling and diffusing can be the first step to your activity. And, we talk a lot about habit stacking, right? So things that I'm going to do anyways, if I'm going to put on an oil anyways, then I might as well go take a walk around the house, even if it's just around your house, right? Or if I'm going to put an oil on, I'm going to also put it in the diffuser at the same time, or whatever that might be. So applying essential oils before and after exercise is a great habit stack. We can connect our breath and our thoughts to our body with the oils, right? So think about our joints and muscles love conifer trees, things that are menthol based and herb varieties and blends. So think about spruce, Northern Lights black spruce, grand fir, pine, wintergreen, peppermint, those kind of basil would be a great one. You can think about Cool Azul pain cream is amazing, right? And it's a great one to just for those muscle aches and different things. You can also do some CBD drops, the liquid drops, put a few drops on and then put the Cool Azul pain cream over top. That's replaced the muscle rub that we've had right now. Regninolone is another option. Regenolone or regninolone is a cream that we have. It's amazing for tight muscles and pain and aches. And it's great for men and women. Okay. Supplements for exercise and recovery. Of course, we've got, Ningxia Red. I talked last night. Ningxia Red is good for everything in our body. And I'll repeat that with every single one of these topics we're talking about. Ningxia Red is vital. We can also use Nitro, Ningxia Nitro. It's actually it's for cognitive fitness, but it also gives you a little boost of energy, but not one of those like, oh, I have so much energy, and no, an hour later I'm just crashing. It's kind of this gentle, natural energy that keeps you going and sustained. We also have Ningxia Zing, which is a refreshing, lightly carbonated drink that combines the Ningxia wolfberry puree, also pear and blackberry juices, and essential oils with naturally occurring caffeine for an energizing boost. You can use Nitro, it's a little tube. I don't have one here, but it's a little tube. You can squirt it in your mouth. I actually don't love the taste of it. I always add it to my Ningxia. And I drink that. A lot of people love to combine Ningxia Red, Nitro, and Zing, and maybe a little bit of Vitality Drops or something, and put it over ice. And it's like a really great cooling refresher kind of a drink that you could enjoy this summer, right? So those are great options. We also have Master Formula. It comes in a box like this, and it actually comes in these individual sachet packs. And this creates a full spectrum complex of vitamins and minerals to support digestive health. It helps to neutralize free radicals in the body and provides gut flora supporting prebiotics. Okay, we need, we need those prebiotics just to keep our body healthy and more happy, right? So, okay. We also have Detoxine. This is an enzyme that is amazing to get things moving in the body. It combines anise, cumin, and fennel vitality essential oils with a myriad of powerful enzymes to help complete digestion, detoxify the body, and promote cleansing. Especially if we eat things that don't agree with us, or that we eat too much and we feel bloated, any of, or not enough, and we're just kind of feeling off. Any of those things can discourage you from going and taking your walk or from getting up off the couch, right? And so oftentimes if we just start taking enzymes, and we have several options, that in itself can help us physically feel better and more motivated to go and take care of our priorities. We also have a supplement called Multi-Greens. This is so it comes in a bottle. It's a, not a bright green, but it's a green color. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the screen here, maybe, sort of, kind of. It's a capsule that contains bee pollen with nutritious greens like barley grass, spirulina, eleuthero root, choline, alfalfa, kelp, and a blend of essential oils to boost vitality by supporting the glandular, nervous, and circulatory system. So the all those greens are really healthy for us and really great for us, but they do not taste great individually and adding them to water. So I love the convenience of taking multi-greens. This can give you a little boost of energy. It can help your body, again, function better. Know that you don't need all of these, okay? But you can muscle test and figure out which ones you need, or maybe you just start with one, give it a month, use it for a month consistently. That's the key. See if you notice any difference with it. And then we have another one called Powergize, which is great for, it's a exercise and sports supplement that helps boost stamina, support healthy muscles, and can actually increase your muscle size and strength. That's a great option. And AminoWise is a powder that, again, it can help enhance muscle performance, reduce fatigue, and supports muscles during and after exercise. It uses a triple targeted formula that features branched chain amino acids, essential oils, antioxidants, and minerals. We are in the process of moving, and I am packing things and then lifting and carrying boxes and things that I have not carried in years. And I often am thinking now, why am I not just carrying this to my car and taking it to Goodwill, right? But I'm not. We're storing it, and we actually got like a storage pod and had it all loaded up and had them ready to come take it away. And we found out it was too heavy. So we had them deliver another one anyways. And so then our job was to take half the things out of the first storage pod and move them into the next one, right? So I will tell you, my muscles and my body were screaming at me for several days, because that was a whole lot of activity that I don't normally do. So we use Sulfurzyme powder, which is amazing. I put this in my drink every day. I use the Sulfurzyme capsules. I used AminoWise. We have golden turmeric, which is another powder that's amazing for the body and just for muscles and recovery. And you guys, I was using those really, really consistently. And because I was taking care of my body during that really stressful time, I was able to get up and do it again the next day, right? There were some days though during it that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up and do it the next day. So, but when we give our body the nutrition and the support that it needs, our body generally will respond. Okay. Now, I'm not saying to do that if if you have a health issue, obviously you use common sense. But I think sometimes we are just I'm going to speak for myself. Sometimes I'm just lazy and I don't want to get up and do it. But I know that when I get up and go for my walk my neighbor and I walk oftentimes in the morning, and that's that accountability. It gets me up, and she wants to go at 7 a.m. Like, seriously, who gets up at 7 a.m., right? To go for a walk. I know many of you probably do, but until recently I did not. But when I would do that though, man, I got so much done during the day as well, because it's like it just woke up my body and it woke up my mind, and I was focused, and I had energy, and I just felt good. So, make sure that you're doing that. Give yourself a chance to adapt to it and to adjust to it. Now, another thing I will say, if you're exercising, make sure that you are also watching your protein, right? Because I did not eat enough protein then in the morning. And so, I would do a lot of times I would intermittent fast or something. And I found I had to start paying attention to my body, that I needed to eat some protein earlier and break my fast earlier. So, our bodies will tell us what it needs if we listen to it. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about sleep next. And this is the participation part for you guys. So I want you to, in the chat, type in true or false, T or F, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to ask you some questions. So the first question is, the body cannot heal properly without sleep. Is that true or false? The body cannot heal properly without sleep. It is true. Sleep actually repairs and restores the cells. It repairs and restores the body. It's super, super important to us. All right, next question. Anything less than 5 minutes to fall asleep at night means that you're sleep deprived. So if you fall asleep faster than 5 minutes when you go to bed, are you sleep deprived? Yes or no? True or false? If you fall asleep really fast. I lost track of how many. This is actually true. Okay. Adrenal fatigue, it's an indicator of adrenal fatigue if you fall asleep super, super fast. Okay. So my husband, he goes to bed, his head hits the pillow, and like he is snoring. I'm laying there for a long time sometimes. And so it really is an indicator that there's something going on in his body. Now, ideally, we want to fall asleep within, I want to say 20 minutes of laying down and falling asleep. Okay. So, but 5 minutes is it's really too fast. All right. Next question. Dreams occur only during REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. So dreams occur only during REM sleep. You guys are smart. That is false. Okay. Electronics have no effect on sleep. True or false? Electronics do not affect your sleep. Very good. The blue light to eye retina and the EMF that we get from our phones or from screens and different things definitely affect our ability to produce melatonin, which helps us go to sleep, right? So a lot of people will just be like, oh, well, I'll just stay on my phone and then I'll pop a pill at night. That's not necessarily what we need to do, right? And it's really not good for us. Not good for us on a consistent basis. Let me say it that way. All right, true or false? Some people can be perfectly healthy with only 2 to 3 hours of sleep per night. Good girls. Okay, I'm going to say girls because I think that's all we have on here that's false. Okay. Anybody know how much sleep you should get a night as an adult? I know we'll talk about this in a minute too. Actually 7 to 8 hours for a continuous sleep are needed to heal and balance emotions. Did you know that that's when those things just kind of everything settles down for us when we are sleeping? So it's super important to sleep. All right. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Melatonin is a hormone. Is melatonin a hormone? True or false? Oh, Alice is the only one guessing there. Okay, MB. Yes, it is true. Melatonin is produced by your pineal gland and controls your circadian rhythm. So it's what helps you go to sleep. Now, interestingly, melatonin, let's say it's produced by the pineal gland, and then but it also produces, I believe the pineal gland also produces cortisol. So the body has to eat up all the cortisol, which is a stress hormone that we create all day long. And that was some of us thrive in all day long, right? And so our body has to eat all that up before it can produce the melatonin. So if we're having a super stressful day and you go to bed and you're laying there for hours awake, your body is still processing all the stress and all the cortisol. Again, oils would be a great option for that, right? Just and earlier than better. Don't just put them on right when you're going to bed and think you're going to not be knocked out. Getting off your phone and getting off screens would be really, really good earlier to help the body decrease the cortisol. Okay, another one that's true is lack of sleep can cause problems with the reproductive system. So if you know people that maybe are trying to get pregnant or have horrible periods, horrible menstruation cycles, just are moody and grumpy all the time and they're not sleeping, there could be a connection there. And that also carries over to the next generation. So what we do does matter for our children and for those coming after us. Sleep balances our mood, it creates solutions to problems, it heals tissues, and it boosts our immune system. And sleep is vital to our health. So studies show that as many as 70 million Americans are affected by chronic sleep loss or disorders. And I mentioned this earlier, but it should take us actually 10 to 20 minutes to fall asleep at night. If you fall asleep in less than 5 minutes, you're not sleeping enough. So we actually need to try to help our body adjust for that. If you are a person or somebody comes to me and they're having sleep problems, we need to ask questions. Okay. So if this is you need to start asking yourself questions. Okay. Things like, is my room dark? Or do I have a lot of ambient light coming in? Is it silent? We really need a silent room. And some people say, oh, I only sleep. I had a gal that watched my dogs when we went to Japan. And she actually slept up here in my office because this is the only room that had something that I had like a, kind of a recliner that you could lay down in. And that had a TV in it. She said, I need the TV to help me sleep. I need the light. I don't even listen to it so much. I need the light. And I'm like, oh, you don't. But she's trained herself now to believe that that's how she falls asleep, right? Well, I can guarantee you she's not getting as good a sleep as she would if it was dark. And, it's a lot of disturbing. And even though it would close our eyes, like I'm looking at a light right now. And when I close my eyes, I can still see that light, right? I'm still getting I still see the ring of it. And our brain is still being stimulated by those things. So we're not really giving ourselves time to just settle. Are there ambient noises? It's best to have it quiet. You can have an air purifier. I know that white sound machine noise are really popular right now. And that would be better than TV for sure. Do you have pets and babies? I will tell you some nights when I go to bed, my husband and my dog are competing with how loud they're snoring. That often, throws off me going to sleep because sometimes I get annoyed listening to them. Or, I will wake up in the middle of the night when they get really loud and Kirk will say the same about me that sometimes I'll snore. Do you have indigestion? Or did you eat right before bed? Is your stomach or your bladder full? Or, is it making you wake up? Is it making you, stay awake because your body's digesting all that? There are many, many books, and resources, but look up the Chinese, TCM. So Chinese medicine. I can't think of what the T stands for. But there are charts that tell you when your body detoxes through the night. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But they look kind of like this, and then there's different ways that you can kind of connect things. So if you wake up every night at the same time, or you just feel really disturbed at a certain time, your body is releasing and detoxing and doing so much work while we sleep that it can give us some ideas of what's going on. So ideas for better sleep. We can create a sleep schedule, which includes 8 hours, beginning and ending at roughly the same time every day of the week. Now, I know that that's hard to do, but the more consistent you can be at it, the better you would be. It's recommended to sleep only 1 hour longer on weekends. Now, I have a teenager, and I will tell you, she wants to sleep all morning on weekends. And it's actually better for her, instead of catching up on her sleep on a weekend, that she only can sleep 1 hour, because then you know what she does is she doesn't go to bed until 2 or 3 in the morning, right? So she's not catching up on her sleep. She's just bumping everything back. Go to bed when you feel sleepy. This is key. Okay. Go to bed when you feel sleepy. That might be at 8 o'clock for some of us. Go to bed. If you get a second wind, you've missed your mark, and you're going to stay awake longer if you get your second wind. And, for a long time, I'd get really tired at 9 or 9:30, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not time for me to go to bed. I don't go to bed until, 11 or 12. And so I would make myself stay up, and then I'd come 11 or 12 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm still like wide awake. I can't go to sleep now. So we have to train ourselves, again, by turning off the TV, stopping, not being on our phone. I've trained myself that at night I'd lay down on, I have a biomat. I love to lay on the biomat. I read a book, for anywhere from a half an hour to an hour, or a couple hours, even if if I'm more awake. But when I start to feel tired, I need to go to bed. And even if that's at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, usually it's at 10 for me. Now, but I'm honoring that and honoring my body more. And then I'm getting up at 5 or, well, sometimes 5, which I don't like, 6, 7, 8, right? And so I'm getting up earlier, and naturally getting up. I'm not making myself wake up with an alarm clock. Let's see. Chinese medicine says that you should go to bed at 9 p.m., wake at 5 a.m. Okay. So if it's, go to bed at 10, we should be in bed before 11 o'clock. So between 9 and 11 is ideal. It's also recommended that naps should be limited or avoided. There are some days I know that you're just super tired. Take a 20-minute nap, but on those days that you take a 2 or 3 hour nap, it's going to throw off your sleep at night. Avoid bright lights and electronic screens at least 30 minutes prior to bed. This is vital for kids. And I can't say that enough or stress that enough. When we let our kids stay on their electronics right up until bedtime, first of all, it's a fight to get it away from them. But again, their brain and their mind and their body is just so stimulated by what they're seeing and doing that it's not allowing the natural calming of the body. And it disturbs the melatonin production. Okay, next tip for better sleep is being physically active throughout the day, but avoiding activity too close to bedtime. So do it earlier if possible. And then earthing and grounding. Have you guys heard of this? It's becoming very, very popular. Basically, it's bare feet on the earth. So go outside, barefoot, walk around your grass, or just go stand in the grass for a minute. Let your dogs or kids run around and play, chase after them, whatever. But it's that the connection of our bare feet on the earth helps to link us to the gravitational forces of the earth and how it spins in rotation. So in the winter time, at least in Iowa, I'm not going outside in the snow. My husband does that sometimes. But we can use sand or dirt in a container for winter. Okay. So you can just have a little container and go stand. It sounds weird, I know, but go stand in your container of dirt or sand and ground. Allow yourself to, besides the fact it just allows you to be like, okay, I'm just going to breathe because I'm just standing here for a little bit. We can also, in winter, go skiing, sit by a fire. So, you can focus on the lights and the sound and the energy of the fire, and, allowing it to come into your body. You can take a bath, indoor garden, among other ideas. And I'm sure you guys can come up with some other ones too. All right. So ideally, we're going to go to bed between 9 and 11 p.m. If you have trouble falling asleep, it's often due to stress. And if you are awake till your second wind, then you're using the energy necessary for overnight healing and the energy reserved for the next day. Sorry, my chickens are, oh my gosh. I gotta pause this for a second. There is something getting my chickens. Sorry, Alice. All right, sorry about the pause. We had a fox in the hen house, but I scared him away. So we were talking about 9 to 11 p.m. We need to go to bed. If we're waking between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., it's our gallbladder that's detoxing and flushing. So waking during this time is often due to emotional disappointments, such as the gallbladder meridian is linked to, because the gallbladder, meridian is linked to frustration, indecisiveness, and unfulfilled desires. I think that's so fascinating, right? If you're waking between 11 and 1, gallbladder. If you wake between 1 and 3 a.m., it's your liver talking to you or doing its big work. Waking is often due to anger or mental rumination. So if you are one that rehashes things over and over and over in our brain, oftentimes we do that, especially if we're under stress. We think about it over and over. And if you lay in there between that time, it's actually being awake can slow our liver from doing its detoxification. Okay. So we really do need to try to go back to sleep, but don't stress yourself over that, right? Get some oils, relax, meditate. A lot of times I'll pray during that, when I'm awake, and, just be calm that I'm hoping I'm going to be back to sleep. If you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., it's your lungs that are affected, and waking can be due to grief or sadness. Things like longing and thinking of the past may help or be causing some of this wake and those desires. And then 5 to 7 a.m., it's your large intestine that's detoxing. Now, if you're going to bed between 9 and 11, this should be your normal wake time during that time frame. But waking apart from being fully rested could be due to emotional blockages or the emotion of being stuck, as these are associated with the large intestine. Okay. So isn't that interesting how our body really does know, and it keeps the score on all this? So sleep needs by age groups: adults need 7 to 9 hours. Teens actually need more. They need 8 to 10. And I know a lot of teens that don't get that, right? Children 6 to 12 need 9 to 12 hours of sleep. If you have toddlers, so 3 to 5, or I guess those are preschoolers, 10 to 13 hours. And that includes naps, so that doesn't have to be all at night, but we really do need to give them time to decompress and to relax. Children ages 1 to 2, they need 11 to 14 hours of sleep a day. And infants 4 to 12 months need 12 to 16 hours. And again, that includes naps, but most of us do not give our bodies and our children, we don't encourage that sleep and that compression time and the restfulness. Sleep deprivation can cause a range of neurological and behavioral deficits, including lapse of attention, slowed working memory, reduced cognitive output, depressed mood, and disrupted patterns of thought. Think about, I know Alice is a school teacher, think about all those kids you come in contact with, right? That have repressed memory, a lapse of attention, reduced cognitive output, right? Because it could be sleep deprivation. Our cells and our body stop functioning, our liver stops detoxing, and that leads to increased inflammation and acidity in the body. So lack of sleep and poor diet may be misdiagnosed as ADHD. Now, not all the time am I saying that, but I think a lot of times if we really started asking questions about their sleep and maybe even had them to keep a journal of what it is, most of us will oversay how much we sleep when we actually are like, oh yeah, but I woke up a lot and I did this and, all that. So natural ways to improve your sleep: manage worries and your stress. So be organized, set priorities, and delegate tasks through the day. You can do a gratitude journal and prayer before bed. It helps reframe your mental focus. Create a restful environment, which is cool, quiet, dark, and solely for relaxation. Do not go in your room, in your bedroom, and watch TV, because that is not relaxing, right? Our bedroom should be a place where we go for sleep or for sex. Honestly, it shouldn't be that I'm laying, it shouldn't even be laying there reading. In fact, when I lay and when I read at night, usually I'm in another room now, or I'm up here in my office and I'm relaxing, and then I get up and I go down to my bed to go to sleep. Be mindful of your consumption before bed. So that food, alcohol, even water, right? Both hunger and excessive fullness can cause sleeplessness. Control and eliminate pain symptoms. Pain is a symptom. Oftentimes we need to look for the cause of it and then deal with it. Okay. So again, ask questions. Why is my leg hurting right now? When we were moving, I was having a lot of muscle aches and spasms and stuff. Well, it's because of, stress in my body. So what can I do for that? Right. I can up my supplements. I could use the pain cream. I had oils next to my bed, so when I'd wake up, at night, I could put them on right away again and help relax those muscles and hopefully go back to sleep faster. A couple of oils, valerian. Okay, it doesn't smell the greatest. I'm just going to tell you, in my opinion, but it helps with sleep as well as anxiety, stomach pain, headaches, menstrual cramps, and depression. Okay, so valerian is great. Rutavala has ruta and valerian and lavender in it, and that helps turn off the mind. And it will, if you can get past the smell, my opinion. It helps to calm your mind down. Okay. If you don't like the smell, put it on your feet, big toe and your thumbs, that's the brain. Sleepy eyes is another great option, and it's great for kids. Anything that has chamomile in it. Chamomile is a mild tranquilizer and sleep enhancer. So things like Roman chamomile essential oil. It has a tranquil aroma that helps you unwind during your nighttime routine. It's also great for the skin. So you can put it in your moisturizer, clean your face, put some Roman chamomile in your moisturizer, put it on your face, and you're going to get the added benefit of that. We have a stress away roll on, we have tranquil roll on, other great, options to help calm the mind. But try different things and see what works for you. One thing I've learned over the years is not sleepy eyes, peace and calming. Most people think, oh yeah, peace and calming is going to, knock you out. But I know some people that peace and calming revs them up. Same with lavender. Like if they put that on a kid at night, I'm thinking of one kid, like they were running circles again. So you have to find out what is working for the person that you want to help, right? What do they resonate with? Ask questions. Which one smells better to you? Which one would you like to try tonight? And start keeping a journal of that or a log. A couple supplements we have is we have a capsule or caplet called Sleep Essence. This contains melatonin and 4 powerful essential oils to help promote restful sleep, and it supports the body's natural sleep rhythm. We also have ImmuPro. I forgot to grab that one. This is a chewable actually, and it helps to support your immune system, as well as has a little bit of melatonin to help you relax. So this is really a great option for, like if you've been exposed to something, or your kids, are come home from school and they're just feeling a little bit off. Give them a little bit of ImmuPro and let them, maybe they take a little nap during the day, or give it to them at night just to really help boost their body and stay, fighting and if it needs to or whatever. Oh, and I forgot this one too. It's KidSense Unwind. Okay, this is not just for kids. It's specially formulated for children in mind to help promote a calm and relaxed state. It reduces restlessness and improves focus and mental clarity at home and in the classroom. So some kids, it's almost like a pixie stick is what it reminds me of, and it's watermelon flavored. And my husband started taking it because he says, I need the extra magnesium that it has in it. So it's a great option. You just pour it in on your tongue, or you can add it to your glass of water, drink it down, and it should help to calm the mind, right? And help your body relax. Now, for those kids that are really revved up in the morning, you can also give them, or try it, maybe on a weekend, try giving them an unwind before you go out and for your activity during the day, and see if it helps them to focus more and to regulate more, emotionally as well as physically. So don't just think, oh, I can only use this at night, because you might be surprised how it helps at other times. And then we have CBD, Calm CBD Roll-On. It combines potent CBD with an array of essential oils to help relax and quiet your mind, creates peaceful nighttime environment, and support a worry-free outlook. So I'm sure you all have your own favorites too. So go ahead and put those in the chat if you want, of what you love to use at night to help you to relax, or just maybe even before bedtime. What's part of your routine that you love to use? Because we all learn so much from each other. So that's what it's so important to share. All right. And then the last topic we're going to talk about is emotions. So in 2020, which we all know what a crazy year that was, 1 in 5 adults experienced mental illness. 1 in 6 adolescents experienced major depressive episodes. And 1 in 20 Americans live with a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar, or major depression. Okay, that's the stats from 2020. That's not real uplifting for, as a society to have those kinds of stats, because I'm sure it's gotten worse since then. Emotions are an expression of inward phenomena known as feelings, which are an expression of physical and psychological perceptions concerning our being. Emotions are how we feel about the outward environment and how it expresses on us. we actually have total control over how we perceive a situation and how we feel about an event. Okay. And we can teach you, that's a whole nother class. But there are many people talking about a circumstance is neutral. So I might think, okay, I got to fight in a fight with my husband, and I'm all angry and upset, right? Well, the situation or the circumstance is that we had a disagreement. The thoughts and the feelings that I have are my thoughts and my feelings, my perceptions, right? Because he might think we're just fine. But often that happens. So, we can control and we can change how we think about and feel about a situation. Okay. So that's a whole nother class. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I just want to kind of throw that out there and let you start to ponder that. And if you want to know more, we can do that later. So optimism actually helps people cope with disease and recover from surgery better. Okay, so the more optimistic you are, the more of a positive outlook you have. And I don't mean Pollyanna, like just for the sake of it, but if we can truly start to adopt that, then we tend to flow better, right? And we go with the world better. So the word emotion means to move out. And if we don't move our emotions out, the longer we hold on to them, the more trauma it gives to the body. So energy flows through our body, and when we hold on to emotions, it can actually block the energy flow. So, there's a valve in connecting physical complaint. I'm sorry, there's a value in connecting physical complaints with the corresponding emotions. And there are books that we have, and I'm just going to show you a couple of them these are really great resources if you don't have them. Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die by Carol Trueman. This is a fantastic book. If you want the easier version of just the emotions that go along with a lot of physical issues is Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. I just found not too long ago, Your Body's Telling You Love Yourself by Lise Bourbeau. And it says the most complete book on metaphysical causes of illnesses and diseases. And I'm going to share a couple of examples as we talk here. But an easy way to kind of determine if, like, is my complaint, is my physical issue emotional or is it really physical? Is you can do the ice or heat test. Okay. So if ice helps the pain, it's likely physical. And it will help bring down inflammation. Ice will help bring down inflammation, right? If heat helps, then often there's an emotional connection. So, and I'm not saying that it only is because, again, when we were moving all those boxes, my back hurt a lot, and sitting on the biomat and with the heat, it helped my back a lot, right? But oftentimes I just want that warmth and that comfort of the heat. And I kind of I crave that. And that's emotional for me, right? It's that calming for me in that regard. So get to know your body, and it really helps us to identify. Once we identify the emotion, then it's this book, Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils by Carolyn Mein, M-E-I-N. I'll put these in the chat in a minute. That's a great book to tell you what oils to use for it, okay? And where to apply it on the body. So chronic stress affects your adrenal glands, which are closely connected to your kidneys. Your adrenal glands are also your fight, flight, freeze, flee. There's one more, I can't remember. All of that. So if our adrenal glands are stressed out, we're not moving very fast, right? We're not able to fight or flight. And so, we're in danger in that way, or we could be. So, okay, if somebody came to me, and this is an example, okay, if they came to me with constipation, first of all, we're going to check the physical causes. Are they eating fiber? Are they drinking water? You'd be surprised how many people don't drink water and then wonder why they're backed up. Are they eating nutrients, nutritious foods, or processed foods, right? Because if I'm eating the box of stuff, my body doesn't know how to digest it as it does if I'm eating more fruits and vegetables and protein. Are any other foundations of health lacking? So look at your air, your water, your nutrition, sunlight, exercise, rest, emotions, just kind of your spirituality even plays a part in this. Okay, so we're going to ask questions. And I wanted you to understand that this is important to ask questions before we just start throwing supplements or throwing oils at people, right? We hear of an issue, and oftentimes You know, like if I said, oh my gosh, I am so stressed out, and you're like, oh, well, here, you need to use some Sacred Mountain, or you need some stress away, because I know that that's going to help you. Well, if you ask questions, you'd find out that I just had to run outside and chase a fox away from my chickens, right? And so I needed maybe something else besides I needed a drink of water, or I needed just to stop and take some deep breaths before I was given an oil. Does that make sense? Okay, so don't just throw or just start, saying, hey, this is the answer to all your problems. Because sometimes it is, but sometimes we need to explore all of it. Okay. Now we're back to our constipation example. Check the underlying emotions. So in what area of life are they feeling stuck? Gosh, isn't that an interesting question when you're talking about constipation? Are they feeling stuck in an area? Especially, let's say it's your kid that isn't, they're constipated. And you start asking questions, or you start thinking through, okay, well, they're stuck at school. They're really frustrated with this, this one subject, and they're just not getting it. And their constipation started around the time that they were really struggling with school, right? Isn't that an interesting connection when we start to think through like all the areas, right? Are they feeling lethargic, can't process or move forward on things? Those are all questions that you can ask, and that's in the Feeling Spirit Alive book. Our gut has more nerve receptors and communication centers than the whole nervous system put together. So if our nerves are not sending impulses and signals to the blood vessels, they won't open up and let blood come to the structure. So maybe we need to really support the gut. Maybe we need to give it some good prebiotics and probiotics. Maybe we need to increase the circulation there, so you can think about DiGize or Cypress or other things. So when we start asking questions, we can come to whole other issues or other options than what, then we think, oh, you just need to rub some DiGize on it and you'll be fine, right? Because it may not be that. If they present, let's say, with knee pain. Does anybody here have knee pain or back pain? I think these are really interesting ones because they're so common. So again, if knee pain, check physical causes. Has there been an injury? Are they overweight? Do they overuse it? Is their gait okay? And then ask, things like, do the neighboring joints hurt too? Or are the surrounding muscles tight and inflamed? My daughter actually is having some numbness in her hands. And, we've talked about different things. She finally went to our chiropractor who does a lot of kinesiology stuff, and he was able to open up some meridians so that things are flowing better. She's getting better circulation in there, right? So I could have put all the oils on it as I wanted, but until we cleared those blocks, sometimes that's just it. We're not getting to the root cause of it. Check again the foundation. So look at their air, water, nutrition, sunlight, exercise, rest, emotions. And then check the underlying emotions. So Louise Hay states knee problems relate to a stubborn ego and pride. This may or may, somebody said they have knee and hip pain. So for knee pain, are you being stubborn? Or are you like, my way is right? I know this is right. Feeling unable or unable to bend, maybe having fear, feeling inflexible, or you're dealing with a person who won't give in, right? What are we being too rigid about in life? It can be lots of different things. So starting to ask those questions. And then she also relates the side of the body to male. So the right side of our body is kind of more masculine, and the left side is more feminine energies. Left also relates to the future. So being receptive to the future and open to things that, that come to us, and right relates to the past. So my right, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. No, I did it. My right knee, and let's say my right knee hurts all the time, and I'm ruminating about something that happened to me, right? Or how I was wronged, or how somebody else was inflexible, or whatever. There's that connection there, that when we get to the root cause of it, or when we start to, just even explore it and say, okay, is this serving me still to be angry about that, or to hold on to this, or, to not want to bend to, something, another situation, like my way is right, no matter what. Is that serving me, or is it like, okay, I'm ready to let that go so I can truly move on? Oftentimes when we deal with the emotion, the physical thing like just disappears. And it's so crazy when when it happens. If you haven't experienced it, you're gonna be like, no, that's not possible. But when we really start to look at stuff like that, it's amazing how things can change it and almost instantly. Um, all right, so that's a whole lot of information. A couple of supplements I would recommend to support your emotions is like multigreens. We talked about that earlier. Super B, this is a B complex. It has 9 B vitamins in it, and it can help with energy. It can help with focus. It just helps your mood. Okay. The joke is, don't be a super B, take your super B, right? So you don't want to be, you know what I mean? It just helps to settle things. Progestins Plus would be a good one for a lot of us women, right? Just to help settle things. Doing the Feelings Collection or the Freedom Collection, those are all really great too. So there's a whole lot more that we could talk about, or especially around emotions. I mean, that's a whole class all in itself too. But I just really want to empower you to know that you can make a difference in your life. You can, again, choose one area, one foundation that you're like, I'm going to make one small change today or tomorrow. I'm going to, add one oil to my routine, or I'm going to take that supplement because I've had it sitting in my drawer for 3 months and it's time to take it. Or I'm just going to go to bed. When I first feel tired tonight, I am going to bed, which means that maybe after this class, go get ready for bed, right? Wash your face, brush your teeth, put on your pajamas, go about, do your business, watch your TV or whatever. And then as soon as you start feeling tired, go, oh, I need to go to bed. So turn off the TV, hopefully you're not watching TV, but if you are, turn it off and go to bed and lay down and just allow your body to rest and to relax and see what happens. So, anyway, there's a whole lot of information. I thank you for your time, and I'm sorry I was distracted tonight. But I just really value the fact that you showed up and that you are open to learning and to learning new things and considering new ideas. So if this is all new to you, get back with whoever shared this video with you and let them know that if you have questions, they're here to answer your questions, or they can find answers for you. Or you can certainly reach out to me as well, and we can help find answers and options for you, because Young Living is such a great company with lots and lots of options, as we talked about tonight. Young Living is set up as a wholesale club, so we can join the club and get wholesale pricing, which is usually 24% off of retail prices. They have some a special program called Loyalty, which, the smart way is to get started with by joining wholesale, right? That's how I did when we first got started, because I thought I will never use enough of these products to get on Loyalty. And then my husband started using all the products on my kids. And so I was like, well, now I have to reorder this stuff. And so we did. And then I thought, why am I not doing this on Loyalty? Because then I got points back and I got free products, and they give me extra stuff every single month. And so, I love that Young Living lets you start however you want. You can start with one order and get wholesale price with 100 PV, which is point value. And you get wholesale pricing for a year, or you can start with any product on Loyalty and you get wholesale pricing every month that you're on Loyalty. The other really big bonus that you get by joining Young Living is you get an amazing community of people who are here to help you answer questions. They want you to succeed. We're here to, just empower you to make the best choices. Now is the time to prepare for your future, right? Now is the time to get the products that are going to help you make better choices every single day. And that's what you get when you join Young Living and you join our community. So get back with whoever shared this with you, let them know you're ready to get started. And I can't wait to see you on the inside.